we did this game 5 years ago when we did a similar event to this, but we did be gentle at the time because the console version was very scary back then. But thanks to this very nice remaster provided by id Software, Bethesda, and Night Dive together, we're going to be doing the WMD Max category, which is going to be really fun and really exciting. But my hands are a little cold right now, so we might get some surprises as we go along. I have two wonderful commentators if you all want to introduce yourselves real quick.
Fair enough. I'm King Dime, and we've just basically swapped positions from yesterday. So, yeah, we've ended up helping each other out with whatever commentary and running games for at least 5 years. At least 5 years.
Hi, and I'm Rytro from the previous run. I know absolutely nothing about this, so I'm going to be the audience surrogate here. I only experience with the classic Dooms as I played through Doom 1 and 2 in high school. Funnily enough, in Spanish class because my teacher wasn't paying attention. But I'm very excited to see what exactly goes into the WMD Max category, so thanks for having me.
Yeah, I just wanted you to suffer for an entire 4 hours instead of only 2.
Hey, if I wasn't here, I'd be back there.
We'll go ahead and get started. So WMD Max, Watch Me Die difficulty is the hardest difficulty in the game. It's the equivalent of PC Doom's Ultraviolence. There is no Nightmare in this version without mods. Max is basically we're going to have 100% kills and 100% secrets, except for this very first caveat in the first level, which we'll talk about. But we'll get ready to start in 3, 2, 1, Doom.
Woo! Good luck.
Thank you. So this first level is very interesting in that we can't get the 100% for a couple of reasons. One, we're actually not going to see a results screen at the end of this level because we're going to be taking the super secret exit to Hectic, and that it's specifically set to not give a results screen. The other reason is that we actually can't get a secret in this level. There's a one out-of-bounds secret that we just have not been able to figure out how to get. So we would, even if we did see a results screen, we'd only see 75% secrets. But we'll be able to see 100% on everything else right here. But this level's also really scary because we have a lot of hit scanners time. If you want to talk about hit scanners real quick.
Yeah, hit scanners are very frustrating because you don't have a lot of options to mitigate damage in the same way as projectile enemies. It's essentially you get hit or you don't. Also, Doom 64 has troopers and shotgunners, and troopers actually do a little bit more damage, like up to 24, than in Classic that you saw yesterday. So,
Were those pinkies?
Those were pinkies.
They look so different in these games.
oh yeah, absolutely. Like, just a more bulky enemy type, for sure. If you notice, like, going throughout the level, Zello has been destroying barrels, because we're going to be looking out for a super secret level that is, like, indicative of doing the 100% max. So we have a barrel here in the exit door.
Just curious, Zelo, could you show off where the secret would be if you could collect it?
Yeah, we'll actually see it in just a bit. So it's actually right behind this Soul Sphere coming up right here if we go into this passage. So we're going to clean up the rest of the enemies here. It would be right here where this switch is. It's funny because that's already inside a secret. So we're going to blow up these last 2 barrels. This one's going to blow the guy up. And this exit activates right here. And that's only available for a limited amount of time. So.
Nice. Just curious, what do you think caused it so that secret is unobtainable? Is that just dev error, or was
Probably
it?
just dev error. So thankfully, we only care about the 100% kills and 100% secrets. Normally, people would play through the secret exit in this level to get the features menu unlocked. But we don't care about that because in the remaster, the features menu is permanently unlocked once you do it once, so we no longer require it for a run. So we're just going to do these 2 rooms and skip the dart room entirely and just leave via the quitter's exit, as we like to call it.
Those are tyrants, right?
Those are Hell Knights.
So, Hell Knight. Again, I'm just so curious about all the differences between designs that they modified for the modern Doom games. It's really, they really took some liberty with it.
Very much. Dime, you want to explain macros real quick?
Yeah, macros are like a new system in Doom 64 where there's more just complicated changes in geometry that can take place and like scripting. So coming up here is a sequence with the blue key, which is intended to go like all the way around the room over, say, like 20 seconds. But Zelo instead is going to skip all that by just using a key grab. Now, multiple macro sequences can't be going on at the same time. So like part of the crushers in this room were like skipped where Zelo could get further than intended.
It's kind of funny. I asked you to talk about macros, and this is the completely wrong category to talk about it in. But we did have a line def skip right there. So line defs, they're basically triggers that you can activate by walking over them, or projectiles can fly over them or such. We actually managed to skip a line def because the movement in this game is not exactly like, it's not so much fluid. You can think of it as more as warping from position to position. So I was on one side of the line def on one frame, and then on the very next frame, I had so much speed I was able to be on the other side of it, and the game's like, well, you didn't actually step on it. So we actually managed to skip the line def for the Crusher stopping, and that made it so we could still keep running under them.
It's so interesting how you can do that just with a casual amount of speed. Or quote-unquote casual.
Right. Yeah, strafe running is still very important in PC Doom, so we're going to be strafe running anywhere because your movement vectors are added up together whenever you strafe run, and that means we run 28% faster. There is no SR50 in this game, only SR40 if you know that terminology, so thankfully we don't have to do any really tricky inputs.
Thank you, Pythagoras. So is that trigger thing that you skipped over, is that only possible with strafe running?
Yes, you need enough speed for that. Come on. I think I'm getting block map bugged right there. The block map bug is pretty notorious. There's some, because of the way Doom was made to run on like low-end PCs or even mid-level PCs back in the day, there's some shortcuts taken to basically skip some steps and make things run more smoothly. But because of that, the collision with sometimes hitting stuff over these block maps or like grid lines, things can get a little screwy, and the game will just not register it sometimes.
So Zelo's picked up the Berserk pack in this map, which increases damage by 10 times, and it's very effective, except the low end is 20 damage and the high end is 200. So you can one-shot an imp, but you can also take 3 shots.
Just curious, on that level complete screen, I saw a 99%. Was that a bug, or was that a...
I thought I saw 100 right there.
Okay, I might just be crazy. It could be
you know,
me.
we'll just go back real quick. Just why not? This is why I'm actually going to save at the end of every level, because this is the only way to check when we got everything. We're good.
Oh, that says 30. Okay. Oh, is that like a time increment thing in the middle?
Yeah. It takes a while.
Oh, is that like the par time or something?
The part times on the bottom, that was items that had the 33%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
yeah, because items don't matter for this category. I get you. Okay.
Yeah, and you know, like items were a choice a long time ago that it's not necessarily all that interesting to pick up all the items in a
bullets.
level because of the little 2% armors and 2% HPs.
Well, I'm glad you brought up percentages, because we're going to talk about percentages and why we explicitly define things as 100%. So we're going to do spawn block a Cacodemon right here. So basically, if something is in the way when something tries to spawn, it can't actually spawn. And this is actually good for this category, because when the game does its kills calculations, if an enemy didn't spawn, it won't increase like the number of enemies like maxed out on the results, which actually means we don't need to kill it. So we try and block off as many enemies as possible so that we don't have to kill them. And that's why we have specifically say 100% instead of all enemies or such.
It is so interesting how that still exists in like Doom Eternal to this day.
Yeah, so this actually has a double-edged effect, because there are a couple of enemies where enemies can actually despawn. If we don't kill them before they despawn, then we can't get the 100%. So there's only like a couple of instances of that in this run, but I have to be very mindful of that. Also, rocket management is very important throughout this entire run. Rockets are really good, and we're going to pick up pretty much everything we can along the way. Now, thankfully, we kind of have to for most of these anyways, because a lot of the big ammo coves are tied to secrets, and we need to hunt all the secrets, like this one right here. But things are routed out pretty tightly for rocket use, and I actually have notes right in front of me because this reroute for this category was fairly new, only finished like a few days ago, and I have like paper notes that tell me how many rockets I need at the end of every level.
I do remember a frazzled Zelo messaging our QuakeCon chat just being like, hey, I've literally just finished routing this 2 days ago. can I bring my sheet of paper that has my reroutes on it?
Yes, I need to cut you off for real quick. There's going to be a big flashing warning after I pick up the Soul Sphere right here, and it's going to last through this entire hallway, so please be warned.
Yeah, and line defs have a whole bunch of different special actions that can be applied to them. And often, you know, when you have a major item
And now we're good.
pick up, like a key or whatnot, there's going to be a monster closet. But in that hallway, it's just like, I guess we'll screw over the player with flashing lights.
It's great that way. So Lost Souls are incredibly deadly, especially in this category because we have to fight everything, and they are incredibly aggressive compared to how they are in PC Doom.
Yeah, very aggressive, but they have half of the HP, so a little bit easier to take down. And so Lost Souls count towards the kill percent, Zelo?
Yes, in 64. So because of this game actually being based on PlayStation Doom, which is based on Jaguar Doom, Lost Souls still counted towards the kill counter at the time, which is no longer the case with Doom 2 1.666.
So Lost Souls are counted because it's Doom's all the way down where it had it counted.
Yep. So we've got this switch puzzle right here. We're going to take a secret exit in this level, get to the next secret area. And if you do that switch puzzle wrong, you are completely locked out of getting to the secret, so we have to be very careful there.
And is there any clues to this secret, or do
No,
you-
this one's just trial and error.
Okay.
It's very silly.
So the switch presses are like 3,
3124.
3, 1, 2, 4.
Okay, hopefully we're not going to get owned by these Hell Knights. I have to jump across these pillars. This is a bad position. Okay.
So I guess question for the person who's not too familiar with Doom 64 like me, but is somewhat familiar with classic Dooms. What's kind of the tech that carries over, and where does it differ? Everything?
Yeah. you can answer
Is that
that
too
one.
fast of a question?
Maybe only because this level's really complicated, so Dime can handle that one.
You might have to come back to that one later. I don't know. Sometimes I can't think on the fly.
That's cool.
Yeah. Why don't we talk about the Demon Key, since that's like a big point of this level?
There are 3 different demon keys in the game which apply to the secret maps, and the demon keys will be upgrades for the super weapon, the Unmaker. Now, unlike Doom Eternal, where you seem to complain about it a lot, it's not very good compared to the BFG.
The BFG is just too good, dude. It's just too good. I'm sorry.
I suppose when you're just destroying an entire room, but the Unmaker is really kind of a true super weapon in this game, where it gets more and more upgraded. And there we go. We've received the
What the is this weapon? As the
Yeah.
I
game
wonder what all
calls
those
it.
ampersands stand for.
So this room has a lot of secrets, and the demon keys themselves are basically secrets within a secret. You do not need them in order to complete the secret levels, so you actually need to do quite a bit of puzzle solving to get this one, and we can finally grab this one here. So now that we have one demon key, the Unmaker fires a lot faster, and more upgrades will add more shots to it, and be even faster later on. And basically, it makes the plasma gun completely worthless already.
Yeah, with the first demon key upgrade. So without the demon key, the Unmaker shoots every 8 ticks, and the game logic works at 30 ticks, so it'll fire every 0.266 seconds. And with the first demon key upgrade, it goes down to 5 ticks, so it shoots every 0.166, approximately 8 per second.
Yeah, it's unfortunate the plasma gun is just so nerfed in this game, and the Unmaker, even with one key, is already so good. If you see me try and actually use the plasma, that's a mistake.
So is the Unmaker going to be like your major source of damage from coming out here for like all the tough ones?
It will be, but cells are at a very big premium throughout this whole category. This is a good use right here because we have a whole bunch of pain elementals that we do not want to leave this area.
Oh god, it's like a lethal laser pointer.
So interestingly enough, the Unmaker, like, it fires those lasers. The lasers are actually just a visual trick. It's a hit scan weapon. Just think of it like a very powerful chain gun.
And does the Unmaker contain an offset at all?
Yes, there actually is an angle offset. That's I think with 1 and 2 lasers, it's up to 2 degrees offset, and with 3, it's like a huge spread once you get it. So
I'm
control.
sorry, as the uninitiated, what does angle offset mean?
So your hit scan weapons do have some offset, like randomness to where they fire.
Oh, like a
after
spread, like
yeah.
a bullet spread.
Yeah.
Okay. So in other words, it's slightly inaccurate depending on where your crosshair is, kind of like if we're playing Valorant.
Yeah, so like some weapons, like the first shot of the pistol, the first shot of the chain gun will always be accurate, and then subsequent shots in a time frame will not be.
Yes. So I guess in a more modern example, it's like the heavy cannon in Doom 2016.
Yeah, that'd be a good example here. Speaking of ammo management, shelf management is actually quite an issue with this level. Tech Center is very complicated. This throws lots and lots of Hell Knights at you. They're pretty bulky. They take 3 SSG shots to take down, and that's our best source of damage overall right now. But it can be very concerning to run out of shells, so I have very specific ammo route right here to make sure I don't run out.
It's a complicated level to route, but also kind of a complicated level to get around, because like I ran the Be Gentle speed category for a bit, and like from different angles you can just tell that this map just looks very samey in a way. So
Yeah,
like
a lot of rooms, I realized it would be like a labyrinth if I was playing this casually.
This whole game is a labyrinth. It's a great set of labyrinths, though. It's definitely my favorite in the series.
yeah, but you get like the feeling in these rooms that like, I don't know, you're in an underwater ship, like, I don't know, a submarine of some sort.
So we touched on this earlier, but how tight is the ammo routing in this category?
Very tight for rockets and such. I have some spares and such with the new reroute, but it's pretty tight all around for cells and rockets.
So like on the order, like if you're like 3 rockets down, it's actually detrimental to like the route and so.
It can be, because those rockets, I usually need to clear things out really quick so things don't get hairy, or I want to get as much group damage as possible.
And in that yellow key room, you just saw Zello kind of hold out by the yellow key door and do a head bump. And by the time that Zello got the red key, the door was still open. So like a micro optimization.
Yeah, we have little things like that. Just multitasking is huge, especially in this category. Like, you want as little downtime as possible. So if you're waiting for something else to happen, you go kill something, you go collect something. You want as little downtime as possible.
All right, getting to the very end of the map, and lots of rockets in here to pick up, but when Zello gets to the exit teleporter, there's
nice, I got the spawn block.
Oh, nice, nice. There's a couple of Barons of Hell by the exit door, but you don't immediately exit the level when you hit the teleporter, but it's approximately like a 15-frame delay that Zello can still take damage.
Yeah, you can death exit, and not in a good way, because I will lose everything, including my my Unmaker and my Demon Keys and my Rocket Launcher. You don't want to die, well.
You can actually do the same thing in Doom 2016, fun fact, but it will just act like you just transfer into the next level, and it will actually give you health. Like, if you're not full, it will fill you back up.
Ah, so it's a Duke 3D death
Yeah.
exit.
And it still works on Ultra Nightmare, the permadeath category, which I just think is hilarious.
That's funny. So this level is pretty notorious in most of the other categories, but in this one's usually not that bad. But there's some pretty interesting things about it. We're gonna deal with all this. There are several power-ups that we can get, so don't worry. The health is pretty low, but there is a Megasphere coming up, so it'll be fine. We do want to pick up as many backpacks and such as possible, just because backpacks give 20 cells as well, and we want as many as we can get reasonably. Usually, I am gonna save in case I get shot here.
Oh, so close.
I know.
Good job,
6
good job.
HP
There we
in a
go.
dream.
Oh, so now we have to actually escape. So I'm going to do a bunch of bunching. Like rockets do great splash damage, and the splash damage is distance and proximity based. So we want them as close as possible. So we're going to group these 4 Hell Knights together. Hopefully, come on. I think I only got 3 of them. So yeah, the last one did not get aggroed. It's really tight to get all 4 of them and have the last one not walk around the corner.
Lost Soul jump scare.
Oh yeah, there's like 10 of them right there.
We'll be back for them later, I assume.
They're actually going to thin each other out for a bit, which is really nice. Like, enemies are very aggressive, and especially Lost Souls, they will infight to to Kingdom Come until they're all dead.
How
So
mu-
so you had like 10 of them in that room, and now there was like 1 or 2 of them left.
That's actually very nice use of infighting. It's always nice when you can just get into, like, unironically, the game plane itself.
It's great that way. And there's going to be several other instances of infighting in this run. My funniest one is probably for when we get to the last secret level in the run. So we actually have a really cool trick coming up right here. Whenever you use stuff, the game just kind of checks the distance, the physical distance, but not the Z distance, because this game doesn't really have a like proper Z offset. So after we kill this Baron right here, we're actually going to just activate this secret door all the way down here from through the wall from behind.
Oh, wait, what?
so that skips needing to jump all the way to a switch, which is really good because if you jump to that switch normally, you would normally trigger a whole bunch of specters in this pit that is almost impossible to get out of. It really sucks. I have somebody right above me, I think.
So wait, is that caused by the fact is like from what I understand, the classic Doom games is that they're basically a 2D map and gameplay, but they fake
it, yeah.
Yeah, they fake you out with 3D visuals to make it feel 3D.
Oh. Okay, well, we didn't trigger the Spectre, so it's okay. So yeah, it's just nice little mapping tricks like that. So let's get around this Baron. We actually want to be on this side because we want to spawn block a Pain Elemental that would spawn when we kill all the Barons. It's nice to not have to deal with them. Yeah, if you're doing the WMD speed category like I showcased earlier this year for Summer Games Done Quick, you have to jump past all of those Barons, and you have no air control in this game, so you are locked in to an angle the moment you leave a platform, and many, many runs have gone to die in the American Gladiator room, as we like to call it.
American Gladiator.
Yeah, Gladiator room with a very dangerous pit down below with all the specters, so don't fall.
Don't fall. Okay, good. My ammo route is actually on track. I didn't check for the last couple levels. All right, so we have a very important line def skip coming up right here. We're going to skip a whole bunch of Lost Souls with this line up here. So I'm going to get in the corner. Going to line up right here. That should be good. Yep, nothing happened, so that's perfect. And then we're going to do the only rocket jump in this run. So that manages to get all the way to the blue key early.
I just love how you have precise setup so that nothing will happen.
Yep.
It's a funny thing.
Yeah, if something ever happens and it's just like, no, that ain't right. The moment you see nothing, it's great.
Now, the way that it looks with that rocket jump, though, it's kind of surprisingly precise, because you just don't get a heck of a lot of backwards momentum for some reason in Doom 64.
Yeah, because the code is based on the Jaguar version, that the movement code's like it has a lot of the same bases, but it's not quite the same, and rockets are part of that. So you don't really get any.
Wait,
you don't get a whole lot of push.
So, quick question: if this game is actually just a 2D game with 3D visuals, how does rocket jumping work if it's actually a 2D?
So you don't get like Z height. You just get a push. So you just kind of just fling yourself off of a wall really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so because... You know what? I think I'm confused, but you know what? It works.
Hell is confusing. Like we're on the bases now, but we've been in hell for the last 2 hours. Then we'll go back to hell in like I don't know, in like not even 5 minutes. It's okay. With how cold my fingers are right now, I think I'd appreciate being in hell.
Going to hell just for the warmth.
Yep. So we can talk a little bit more about the 3D engine stuff actually, because because of the way the Doom engine works, it's not really true 3D. So over and under rooms normally wouldn't be supported, but we're actually just going under that room that we saw above. And this game does really cool things with its maps, where there are line defs that trigger floors to either lower or rise outside of the player's view, and that basically creates bridges and stuff that you don't see. And it's a really, really good illusion. Also, this is my favorite like Lost Soul kill right here. Boom. Very satisfying kill.
All 5 of them, or was it something like that?
Yeah, it was 5. So now see we're upstairs, even though we had rooms right below us. So it's a really neat mapping trick that the Doom 64 mappers use. Randy Estrella, Tim Hadelar, and Danny Lewis, I think, were the 3 mappers. They had really, really creative designs for their maps. I didn't mention, but this game was made by Midway instead of id Software. id Software just kind of supervised. And overall, this is a game very worthy of the Doom name, even though it was made primarily by an outside company.
It's just nice to see like a new Doom game because everything else was just a port in those days. So 3DO, 32X, the SNES, et cetera, and then you finally get this all new game in '97.
Aw, I was hoping I could get all of them. Funny enough, that rocket doesn't damage you, but it damages all the zombie men. I think it's block map shenanigans, but I haven't, like, confirmed that. But this level's pretty tight for health, so we're going to try to avoid needing to take a soul sphere later on. It does have my favorite key grab in the entire game, though.
You know it's a good key grab when it's your favorite.
I think that setup's good. Okay, yeah, we're good.
Oh, was that a setup for nothing to happen
Yeah,
again?
nothing to happen. You'd see 7 Nightmare Imps, and it's like, now you see none.
I think that's my favorite part so far, just how you have precise setups to just get those spawn blocks.
Yep. All right. So after we get this Mega Armor, we do have a key grab coming up. I do have a lineup against the wall coming up, and it's pretty nice. So we're just going to look at there's the key. We're just going to line up right here, and we're going to strafe backwards and grab it with my butt. So you heard it here. Doom Guy's got good booty.
The glutes on this man.
That's why I call that booty grab. So a little bit more cleanup coming up right here. Chain gun, really, really good in this game. If you want to explain the chain gun a little bit?
Yeah, the chain gun is just very, very effective against especially the lower tier, but it's just much like it's one of the weapons that I just think is superior looking to the original games as far as just the sound design and everything through it.
All right, so we're going to try and get these Hell Knights to get spawn blocked. It's going to rely on luck right here. We didn't get that one over there, and no, neither of them got blocked. So this is actually kind of bad health-wise. So we're going to grab this energy. So we're going to start using the Gunmaker here, kind of thin out these Barons and take cover. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of infighting to happen. Looks like one Baron's already really mad at an imp over there, so that's great for us. So I want to leave with 160 cells, so we're going to just kind of keep plugging away here. That's actually good enough right there. And then we're going to have plenty of rockets for later. So I need to be very careful because if I fall in this pit, I actually can't get out and I die. So let's just take this very slow.
Just curious, does the Unmaker, do the shots pierce?
They do not, unfortunately.
Okay, it looked like you were trying to line them
know.
up, but that was just coincidence, I guess.
Yeah, it looked like it. We thought that for a while, but then who was it? I think it was Decino that made the analysis video, and he's like, no, it doesn't. Shout out to Decino, by the way.
Oh, he's a classic Doom legend. Even though I'm in the modern Doom, I hear about him all the time.
All right, we got our first arena level. This is even simpler. This is a good tribute to Dead Simple from Doom 2, so we're going to just be fighting waves of enemies here. So after I kill these Hell Knights, the next wave is going to spawn, and all hell's really going to break loose because we need to kill a bunch of Pain Elementals ASAP before they spawn Lost Souls everywhere.
Do the Lost Souls they spawn count towards the
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That makes them scary, but not just for that reason. So there's a lot of balance changes in this game to enemies. And one of the balance changes to Pain Elementals is that you can no longer spawn block them with just your body. If you try and spawn block the Lost Souls using your body like you could in Doom 2 or such, they'll explode for rocket damage in your face and just kill you probably. So that actually makes Pain Elementals among the most deadly enemies in the game.
Glad to see they kept that consistent with their sequels.
Yeah. And we've seen like the rendition of the original Pain Elemental in the new modern Doom games, but it's like, I wonder if we're gonna see the Doom 64, Pain Elemental
That
at
is
some
a lot
point.
of
It
Lost Souls.
would be nice.
That was just floating over there. Lost Souls, if they have like any kind of momentum when they try and attack, they'll just keep floating in whatever direction until they hit a wall or something. It's great.
Yeah, it's kind of like how in Doom Eternal they took a lot of classic designs from, the classic Doom games. I wonder if they'll lift any designs or philosophies, kind of how they retroactively made the Doom Hunter into the Agadon Hunter for the trailer, or at least that's what I assume. I wonder if they'll take inspiration from Doom 64 in that style for the Dark Ages.
And as like Hugo Martin just being a huge fan of Doom 64, I think there's
Hi, Plasma, bye,
it's
Plasma.
highly likely.
One could hope, because I will say this game does have super unique designs when compared to the classic Doom 1 and 2.
Yeah, everything was built up from the ground up. It's really great, like especially since specifically for this game they did do some like latex modeling, but most of it's like high poly models that they computer generated, and then they digitize those into sprites, and you get some really good designs. Like I love the pan elemental design in this one.
Yeah. Unironically, I do want to see what a modern Doom version of the Pinky model in this game would look like.
Oh, come on, die. I think it was like one pellet that hit that last Hell Knight there. Thankfully, that did not scratch me for much. Scratches can go anywhere from, I think, 11 to 88 damage. So they are incredibly deadly. Gonna try and slip past these imps.
I just saw the amount of enemies you walked by, and I just cringed a little.
Oh, don't worry. We're gonna see a lot more of them in just a bit when we have to come back. So we're gonna spawn all these Lost Souls, try and get some infighting to happen like this on the right. They're just trying to give each other a hug, but they don't have hands. So gotta give them a hand.
If they can't hug with their hands, they're going to try to hug you with their jaws.
Or intercept your rockets and make you facepalm them yourself. That has happened plenty.
Face rockets, my beloved.
All right, so we actually will be getting the BFG here because it's the best place, the earliest place we can get in. It's just as good as it is in every other game. So, but we're also going to try and spawn block a bunch of Mancubi using these Spectres. How many did we block? Oh, we blocked all of them. Very nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, all 3 of them is really good luck there. So now we're going to do another line def skip that's going to skip even more enemies than you're going to see in about, oh, I don't know, 3 seconds as soon as I line this up properly. That should be good. Yep, I didn't hear anything, so we're good. So look at all of these. So imagine double this. And
Oh my.
it would be a lot.
So does the BFG not just like work in an area? Is there like an enemy cap limit to how many they can kill, or?
Dime can explain that if he'd like to, because it's very complicated.
Yeah, the BFG's got the main projectile and then 40 invisible tracers that come out based on the direction that you initially shoot. So kind of up to like 40 enemies on the screen, but if they were all hit scanners. Anything that's bigger is going to soak, you know, more damage. There was multiple Mancubi in the room, so say like 10 invisible tracers per Mancubi.
Yeah, so you can either use the BFG to clear out a large wave of enemies in front of you, or you can just plow the ball right into somebody's face, stare at them real hard, and then they'll keel over. Just like this, hopefully, coming up right here as soon as I grab this Berserk.
So it could be high single target burst damage or a great fodder clearer.
Yes. So it is an extremely important weapon, and knowing how to use it effectively really separates like good Doom speedrunners from like really great ones.
And here's like another perfect example, like coming up of the room over room tricks, except using a bridge that you're going to see if you look right to the left here. But Zello's going to be going around some corners, and with some trickery, it looks like room over room.
Yeah, I actually have to be careful when I cross these bridges later, because if you skip over these line defs by accident, then you'll just see a big hole in the floor that you actually cannot cross. And if the door shuts behind you, you get locked in, and there's no way to recover from that. So we're going to be very, very careful to not accidentally lock ourselves in.
And Zello is experienced with the PC version of Doom 64.
Like that.
Oh.
You get to see that.
There we go.
You had to demonstrate it.
The PC version of Doom 64, but also you ran the console edition with Neutral Reset, where it's even worse for line skips with the amount of speed.
In the original console version, because of the way you could calibrate the analog stick, you could get a ton of extra speed that was never intended, and you can skip a lot in that game in very bad ways. I don't need that. That's fine.
Oh, so how do you all handle like the Doom 64 leaderboards? Is it separated by console or port then?
Yeah,
because
it's separated by version.
Okay.
Yeah, so the original console version is its own board, and then this is its own.
Just back there with the Soul Sphere, that's actually a very interesting section, because for, I would say, the majority of secrets in like Classic plus 64, you don't need to do any strafe running to get to it, but it's like one of the few secrets where it's mandatory to get there.
I'm trying to make sure I actually hit that secret trigger. Okay, there it is. I actually did skip over it for a second. I'm like, wait a second, I didn't see that.
The strafe is too strong sometimes.
All right, so we're going to try and get one more BFG shot in here. Oh, there's a Lost Soul behind me. So there's 3 Barons guarding this exit right here, so hopefully they're going to bunch up very nicely. I'm going to save just in case because I didn't have the Soul Sphere like I usually do, so... Okay, that's enough blast damage, I think. So we should be able to clear out with a few more rockets here. And then these last set of hit scanners, they're pretty mean. It's like you can't, when enemies spawn in, they actually have some invulnerability time and you're not able to hit them, but they can just hit you back if they feel like it. And it's just like, I have lost many runs, and especially ILs in that level, to them sniping me at the very end and killing me.
So this is a cool map here, Altar of Pain, where it's overlooking like a massive fortress from a moat area. But with the secret levels, in the first one that Zello entered, like you're able to find some enemies that like come in earlier than the main campaign, but also with the Unmaker. The Unmaker was picked up on Outpost Omega, but this will be the first edition that you can get without a secret map.
That imp was falling forward, so there's some funny momentum things if like they're by an edge, and that imp, even though I shot him from the front, he basically fell forward off the ledge. So thankfully our armor is in good shape right here. So after we get this key, there's actually like a switch in the way that there's actually a green armor in the way of a switch that we need to push, and thankfully we don't need to take it. We call that the armor of shame. So green armor puts you at 100 armor and reduces damage by 1/3, whereas mega armor, the blue one, puts you at 200 points and reduces damage by 1/2. So we want to have blue armor protection whenever possible. And unfortunately, if you're low enough, green armor will overwrite blue armor, so you don't want that to happen, which is really nice because we need a lot of supplies coming out of levels later on.
And the blue armor, green armor, that's just damage reduction whenever you take health damage in this game? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to save a little bit of Unmaker ammo just so I can keep an eye on my cells. I do want those rockets over there. This is a very complex level for being like somewhat mid-game.
And it's like an interesting rendition of Hell because we're in the Hell levels, right? But it's not so much fire and brimstone, but
They took a very different direction with all that, and I like it that way.
It is rocky hell.
Just purple starry skies in the back, and it's rather comfy in an odd sort of way.
I will say, like, I wouldn't mind looking at the skybox for a little bit. I think it'd make like a great desktop background.
There are some fantastic skyboxes in this game.
I think that's one thing that is pretty consistent about the Doom games, is that the art direction in regards to the environments has just always been top tier.
All right, so we're getting into this altar section. We have 5 Barons that we need to kill, so we're going to hopefully group them up decently, and we can use the BFG on them. So I'm going to aim for these 2. That was a pretty bad shot. We're going to go for them, and then we're just going to rock it out. And we're going to spawn block one other Baron, hopefully. Yes, perfect. So then we can just kill the other and leave.
But I don't know about the demonic design in that room. Like, what would you consider a pentagram, Retro, when you think of a pentagram?
A 5 like pronged star.
5-pronged. Do you think with like equal lines to each side?
A little, like from each point, yeah.
Yeah. Would it have a circle?
Yeah, like around the points, yes.
Yes. Because I think in that room it's just a star.
It's just a star. They forgot the circle.
Yeah. It's just trying to be like very spooky, so I feel like Azlor, the Baron of Hell, was like getting yelled at in the next conference meeting.
I kind of feel silly now that I realize that the reason there are 5 Barons there is because it's a freaking star of like 5 points.
Oh!
I just realized that now, and I've run this game for like 10 years now.
You learn something new every day.
I know. So we're going to go to the secret exit coming up right here. So this is the easiest one to find. Most people usually find this. If you just look on the map right here, hey, look, that looks like an arrow. Hey, look, we're just going to jump through the wall.
What? Okay, without that map, I would have... The secrets of the Doom 1, 2, 64, all the games in that style just always surprise me with their secrets, because it seems like that the devs are just having a little fun, poking fun at the player, while also, you know, genuinely having some moments.
It's great that way. So this is the layer. This is the second secret level. So we'll get our second Unmaker Demon Key here. There's a pretty scary part when I enter this castle, so I'm going to move in a very specific way to not get beat up. Enemy movement, like a lot of stuff in this game, is extremely random. Enemy movement is generally very random, but it can be manipulated to an extent when they first aggro. So we're going to move in just a very specific way to make sure they go and not block me off. So very nice right there. So this is actually be the first time we see Arachnotrons really in full, since we kind of only saw them in Hectic a little bit. And then to get the Demon Key, we need to hit these 2 switches. That'll lower it from the pedestal. And hopefully we'll get this good BFG shot right here. Not really.
And there we go. Zelos just picked up the second Demon Key, which is now going to add a second laser to every time the Unmaker is fired, and also reduce the ticks from 5 to 4. So now it's 0.133 for every laser that comes out. So I said 8 earlier for the first Demon Key, but I meant 8 for the second one. So just a miss.
I'm going to play this very safe because I have very low health. This is actually one instance where we actually will not actually get a secret in this level, but still get 100%. So we talked a little bit earlier about being able to spawn prevent enemies, and they wouldn't count towards the counter. So that actually applies to some items that spawn as well, like secrets. So we actually picked up the Unmaker in Outpost Omega, and that actually is a secret that isn't required specifically, but we want the Unmaker early. But we're actually skipping a Berserk pack that, as long as we don't press a certain switch, it will never actually spawn. And the game's like, okay, well, there's only like 0 out of 4 secrets instead of 0 out of 5. And it's like, that's fine. So I just get all the other secrets, and I don't have to care. And we'll still get our 100% right here. Hi, Lost Soul. He got lost. There might be one other one lost.
How narratively fitting.
Okay, see? Still got our 100 right there. So this begins the mid-game. We're halfway through this run, and this is a very complicated mid-game. The next 3 levels are probably the most difficult overall stretch of the run. Like, health is a huge concern. There's some really complex fighting, and anybody who's played this game casually and knows the dart room in this level, you're going to be wondering, what the hell am I doing?
I'm still wondering that.
Speaking of what the hell am I doing, I have like no shells. We're going to pick some up. So this is one of my favorite strats coming up right here, though. Enemies, if they're aggro, they'll just keep trying to lock on you. So we're going to let this Arachnotron... I'm technically still in his range because I aggroed him. So he's just going to plasma this Baron for me, and then we're just going to do it right here.
I love that. Thank goodness infighting does damage.
I know, it's so good.
I'm so glad that's a mechanic.
Yeah, that
one
was
of the best mechanics of all time.
Like I said, some of my favorite strats are just when you can get the game to play itself.
But the Arachnotrons are fairly different in Doom 64, where they fire 2 laser bursts, and also it doesn't quite act as suppressive fire, just because they're shooting a few, and then they'll stop.
All right, so here's the dart room right here. So you normally would want to take an invincibility through this. No, we're not going to do that.
What? Is this a bullet hell game now?
Yes, this is now Toho. This is now Hell Toho. So these darts actually do a lot of damage and are really good at thinning out the Barons. And they're so good, we're just going to activate them again.
What's your strategy for avoiding them? I can't wrap my head around it.
So thankfully, if you're on this very bottom floor, you're short enough to where the darts will miss you, but they can still hit the Barons even if they make it to the lowest floor. It's so good.
Oh, that is so neat.
So we're going to skip that invulnerability. We're actually going to use that for cleanup a little bit later. And speaking of cleanup, we have to get rid of everything here kind of now. The cacodemons in this area are notorious for floating away. My friend Ellie, who originally routed this category, he had a cacodemon follow him all the way across the level somehow. So we've learned that we just get rid of everything anyways. And it's nice because we can get rid of the imps now, so they're not clustered up when we need to do kind of an escape sequence later. I am still really low on shells. I'm going to pick up this box over here. Like I said, ammo routing is extremely tight. Normally the shells aren't this tight, but I must have missed like several boxes. So it's okay.
And you took a couple hits in this room from the Nightmare Imps, and I guess something to mention is that the difference between a normal imp and a Nightmare Imp is Nightmare Imps move twice as fast and they shoot twice as fast.
Yeah, otherwise they're the exact same as normal imps, but the faster fireballs can be a little bit more difficult to dodge. That Baron is in a really bad
feel free to
spot.
stop me if you gotta explain like another strat or something. But what was all the effort that went into your recent reroute, and like what was the motivation for it?
So I got a lot better at this game since I last ran this category 3 years ago, and it's just like when you get better at routing, you're like, here, maybe I want to improve this a little bit more, maybe something's more efficient. So I started rerouting this to prep for this, and time was just like coming down in huge chunks. Like some levels could be like 10 seconds. Like one level in particular, in a best case scenario, would save 50 seconds over my PB, which is huge in a game like this.
So what was like the mindset you adapted for like rerouting it? Was it just more game intuition you built up from knowledge over time? Did you have a strategy or?
It's a combination of both, and it's just this game has a lot of. It's a clusterfuck of knowledge, to say the least. I don't have any other way to describe this other than you need to play the game a lot and know how the maps work, how the situations can unfold. Like right here, I had to wait a little bit for that Hell Knight to come to the wall, because otherwise I wouldn't have enough room to run past him. And that's just something that you only can do like just by playing the game.
Yeah, just by memorizing enemy AI behaviors, knowing what they will do in certain scenarios, and then also, of course, the best part, being able to think on your feet when they give you something that you weren't quite expecting.
Yeah, this is very much an improv game. Like you have a main plan, but you still wing it as needed.
I think that's something I appreciate. That's pretty true in most of the Doom games, is like even if you go in with a plan, you got to be prepped for if one thing to go wrong to adjust everything on the fly.
Okay, so we're going to get all these Barons a little bit later. It's like, thankfully, that hit doesn't matter, don't worry. So thankfully, the Barons will follow me a bit, so we're going to get these secrets first. We're actually going to go to the exit first and start clustering up Barons over there. This game loves Barons, like because there's several missing enemy types in this game due to original cartridge space limitations and such. So they just kind of went with a lot of Barons in places. So we're going to activate all those four Barons. We're going to leave the room. We're going to get this Soul Sphere that's behind that fake wall there. We're going to get this Mega Armor that we skipped. We want a lot of health and armor for the next level. And that invulnerability that we left behind, we're going to pick that up now. We're going to hopefully get some good BFG shots in. Oh, that is beautiful. So we can just be like point blank right here and just watch them melt.
Yeah, 3 dead from the BFG, and then it's just clear up. Seeing you kill those guys with 3 separate super shotguns and then just seeing them die that quick is just a certain degree of satisfying.
Yep. So now these should be clustered up decently. What? They did not cluster up decently.
They didn't get the script.
I want a refund. I want my $5 back. By the way, this game is only $5. You should really, really get it if you haven't already. It's such a fantastic game. And it goes on sale often, too.
Are you within the 2-hour Steam refund policy?
No, I think I'm 1,000 hours past that.
Ah, unfortunate.
All right, Eye of the Storm, very, very complicated here. So there's a weird line def that we're going to try and skip, but it depends a lot on the enemy movement patterns coming up. So we want a Baron to get out of the way in a specific way. If we would normally go to the sides of the castle, like on this side, like we would on the other side, we would trigger a line def that would spawn a whole bunch of pinkies, and we don't want that. Like, that's bad. So we're going to have to deal with at least one set of pinkies already, but we can avoid doing the other side. It's like, thankfully, the other side of the castle has a secret that we have to get anyways, so that enables us to do this trick. So we're just going to kind of do a little bit of cleanup first. We want all the pinkies to come over here if possible.
Line them up, knock them down.
That may be all of them. I'm not sure. We'll see when we get around the alcove. So we're going to clear out these enemies right here. And the secret is on a timer coming up once I hit this little wall panel, so I have to be kind of quick. Oh, there's one right there. So we're actually going to stand here. I'm going to let the bars bonk against my head and reset the timer. I'm going to do this very safe just because I need to make sure this thing dies. Okay. So we're actually going to do an intentional save load right here. So there's a bunch of lost souls that spawn when this blue key ends up spawning in. And we just de-aggroed all the lost souls by just saving and loading real quick. And this is nice because we have to go there for the exit later. And more lost souls spawn, unless those are already just there. So they're just going to stay over there and stop a bunch of lost souls from coming in.
So did that save load basically, like, quote-unquote, despawn the lost souls?
Close enough, yeah. They got lost.
They got lost in the game code, no longer in the map.
And trust me, there's enough lost souls in this level already. Like, Danny Lewis was very mean when he made this level. Like, look at all these. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So we're just going to kind of camp at the corner. The chain gun's really good. The chain gun's actually a little bit faster in this game compared to PC Doom. So it's very, very good at clearing out swarms like this. Yeah, this should be fine.
And after destroying like all of these barons here, there will be what looks like a juicy soul sphere in front of Zello, but
Is that a trap?
Yes.
It is, because if you pick it up, cacodemons spawn. We don't need it, so.
Oh, and so you won't get the enemies spawn in, so you can still get 100%.
Yeah, but I'd still have to kill them, and it's like, I don't want to deal with them.
It's not worth the safety of picking up the health.
All right, this is the loudest sound in the game. That was actually less loud than it usually is.
My ears still reeled a little bit.
All right, so this might be not 100%. The lost souls still kind of tend to wander off. We're going to see right here. Okay, we still got 100. We're good right there.
That is nice.
All right, this has the hardest arena in the game in just a bit, but first we're going to get this key. We actually have a really funny key bump. If you just kind of just wiggle against this, eventually you just get the key. It's like Doomguy's just reaching for it. He's like, I can reach it. I can get it.
Okay, I'm just curious. Technically, do you know how that works?
Dime, you want to explain like how the sequence of events for key bumps?
Well, you mentioned earlier in the run about how like each tick, it's kind of like you're warping around the place, and you know, like Zello's got sufficient speed where the check.
Oh, so in other words, like the game thinks you're on the key because like does it just get confused basically?
It does checks in a really weird order. So it kind of checks if you can grab an item first before the check, like you can actually like validly move there.
Yeah, are you if the player is in a valid location to actually be.
That is so interesting.
So yeah, this is the hardest arena right here. There's a lot of randomness with all these Arachnotrons and Barons running around. Thankfully, we had a really good start, and especially since we had a lot of health to start this. So, and there was a lot of infighting as well. So rocket routing is really important here, so I'm going to be very mindful of my rocket count. Make sure I don't spend too many, because I need some for later. It's like, thankfully, there's plenty of rockets there. There's still a Hell Knight still alive. That's a first.
But the amount of spam of just high tier enemies in this room is crazy. It reminds me of like a Final Doom room.
It's master levels all over again.
Yeah.
I was about to say, it reminds me a lot of Eternal Master levels, how sometimes they just fit a bunch of enemies in there.
All right, this is a little scary right here. We're going to weaken these Barons a little bit. There's also 2 Arachnotrons on the other side of this ledge, so let's hope we don't croak. Oh, good. One of them actually went on the other side of the stairs, so that actually saved me a lot of trouble there. All right, and one last little thing. So there's actually like turrets in this room, They don't have Revenants in this game, but they have Revenant rockets being used as projectiles against you. So you're being chased by that. And it's especially mean on Watch Me Die because they put an extra turret on this difficulty in the starting room. So if you try and just camp out there, you get blasted to death. It's really hilariously bad.
There is an art to a game that just knows how to mess with the player in just such a particular way.
Alright, that should be everything, hopefully. So that was actually a really good mid-game segment right there. Like, those are 3 of the scariest levels in the run. They all went really well.
Does that mean we're moving on to the end game section?
No, there's still plenty left to do. Like, this is still like, we're about 65% of the way there. This level used to be notorious for killing runs, though, for kill count. I would get 99 a lot, and I still would, especially when I did ILs of this. But I modified my approach a little bit so I wouldn't be missing enemies like these Cacos wandering off or such.
So with the reroute, you also didn't just look at speed, you also looked at some strats to improve consistency as well.
Yes, consistency is big. Like, the game is so random that you want some consistency to at least be able to reliably finish some things.
Yeah, especially in a category that gets upward almost 2 hours. Like, consistency is king because at the end of the day, like, if an inconsistent strat gives you 2 seconds of time save, like, you just won't finish runs at that point.
Yeah, this is the longest category in the game. And I was saying at SGDQ that WMD speed was the most difficult when I did it again because you skip so much stuff. Then I rerouted this and I'm like, no, there's so much fighting that this became the most difficult category again. So we're going to get out of this room in time, hopefully not get blocked by a bunch of Lost Souls because they will, they'll eat your face off.
Yeah, and Zelos is insanely low right now, but there's some convenient power-ups. Hopefully that Zelo can get to.
Yeah, there's a Soul Sphere right here. There's a Mega Armor in this cove right here. So, and all the Lost Souls are out of the way, so that's very convenient.
I don't really know if there's any true city levels that you would like describe in Doom 64, but I think this is about as close as you can get to one where you're just going to these different buildings and exploring the spaces.
Yep. We also get to explore the great platforming in this game.
Yeah, if this is a Hell City, I'm kind of wondering what they did before you showed up. Like, what do you think these demons were doing? Like, in their typical day?
Waiting, waiting and waiting. Wow, where's the other Hell Knight? Okay, he didn't spawn. That rarely happens, but there should normally at least be a couple soldiers in the room for that to happen. Also, that's a lot of Cacos. Hi, Cacos.
Oh. Cacos in this game look a lot like pain elementals.
I know, right? So, my loving wife, Harukaze, shouts to her. She's not with me on this trip right now just because she's somewhere else. But she saw this game first when I ran it, and then she saw PC Doom, and then she exclaimed, "Why are the Cacodemons red?" Because she was just so used to the design here.
Yeah, everybody's Doom is somebody's first.
All right, this is our only secret level right here. We actually have to be careful because I can skip over the secret exit, the secret area trigger. There we go. So I can jump over and then I can accidentally line def skip over it, and I've had that happen in a run before. I'm like, wait a second.
But again, with these levels, it's like we are technically in hell. Like anything after even simpler. And it's like it's just designed for us, like these huge libraries. So I guess hell in a way is, you know, for anybody who's afraid to read, I suppose, designed for those individuals.
Either that or those books are about how to perform various evil acts.
Maybe that's why they don't want you to go in there. They know that those books are actually how you clip out of bounds.
Forbidden knowledge. Oh, I should mention, is there any like clips or weird out of bounds in this run, or do you want to leave that?
Not in this version of the game. In the original console version for N64, you can do some very neat things out of bounds that are very, very hard to do. So thankfully, I'm not going to do that. There, nothing happened. Perfect. So we're gonna get this great BFD trick shot off. Hopefully, I'm just gonna wait a little bit. Fire about right there. Kaboom! Aw. We got screwed by tracers. Oh, by the way, if you fall in there, you're dead.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, great in a game where you couldn't save mid-level, and then you get to the end of this really long level, and it's like, that happens.
Was that on a previous port?
Yeah, the original.
Mm.
All right, so this is two parts of this level. We have like a little bit of a scavenger hunt for a switch and then an arena. So I'm actually going to move in a very specific way. So these like black tiles, they'll actually spawn enemies if I'm too close to them. So we're going to move past them in a very specific way so I spawn the minimum amount.
The amount of strats you guys go through just to not get enemies spawn is honestly, I'm impressed.
Yeah, and it's not even over yet for this level. There will be some interesting spawn prevention in the final room. But this level here, like, there's really only one technical boss level in the very end.
Good.
But I'd consider this one also a boss map.
Oh. So we're going to get the secrets. So I'm actually not going to get the Megasphere in this level. Okay, now I'll get the Megasphere because I got shot in the face really hard. Normally I would have skipped that if I was able to, because we only just needed to enter those rooms, not even flip the switches. But we'll go ahead and just flip the switch and get this Megasphere over here. It doesn't take too much time to get. And the next area is really scary because we have this arena where several waves are going to spawn. And I only need to kill certain enemies of every wave. So we're going to just kill very certain ones. Now, when I do the Mancubus and Arachnotron wave, when all of those die, every other enemy will despawn. And if I haven't killed them by that point, then I can't get 100%. And I am honestly at a loss of where the proper pinky went. So this is already going to be a little sketchy. There it is. Okay. Well, I wanted more pinkies in the room to be able to spawn block more enemies, but we're just going to have to deal with it. I guess that's still okay. That at least makes it a little easier later, because that means I'm not having to, like, guess where the last sets of enemies are. Okay, so that's the Arachnotron and Mancubus wave. So we're going to get rid of a few of these now, just to make sure that I don't miss anything. Going to get rid of you. Yeah, because things went a little bit south, we're going to wait a little bit and get rid of all the other required owners. Now we're going to go back and get the secret that I passed up. We have this nice invulnerability. We're going to carry this to the end of the level here. So we're going to get rid of everything else now that we know that we're going to get our 100% kills. And now we have two Cyber Demons, and I don't want to fight them dead on because rockets are just as deadly as my rockets. So we're just going to face tank them. And getting two-shot kills on them is perfect, so that great level.
BFG. Gotta
Make sure I
love
get
it.
the rockets. And we should see 100% assuming that I didn't miss anything, and I'm really hoping I did not. Good.
Nice.
Alrighty, that's definitely a weight off my shoulders because I've definitely missed some enemies here and there sometimes, and it's sad when you see like the 98% and you got to reload like a minute back.
And Spawn Fear is a very long level, and you're going to see many, many doors that Zello is going through. And it takes a little while to speed up to, or like accelerate to full speed. So Zello is constantly like backing up a little bit from the doors and then moving through them.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think the
that-
philosophy is like, why move through a door at starting at 0 speed when you can already be moving in, right? You've already built up that speed.
Yeah, exactly. And when, I don't know how many doors would be in the game, but you assume like 100 plus if you're saving a quarter of a second per door.
That's got to be like literally like 30 seconds or so of time save.
30 seconds, that's huge.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of like momentum preservation. Like, it's hard to get momentum preservation specifically in 64. So wherever we can, we just try and get a running start through doors and such.
So I'm just curious, Zelo, if you said earlier that you basically rerouted this category, are you basically like the sole runner, or is there other big communities, or is it basically just a one-man show?
I'm pretty much the only full game runner still active at this point. My good friend Ellie, great friend of mine, he did the initial routing for this category a few years back, and it was a great baseline, and then I tweaked it, and then after that, basically, the category remained stagnant for a few years until I rerouted it for this. So we'd love more runners for 64. There's a category for everyone. You don't have to play a long and hard one like this. So if you would like to learn it, I will be very happy to teach you myself since I'm not very good at making tutorial videos, but I will happily teach you this.
Yeah, and Zello is purposely waiting right now to basically spawn prevent a whole bunch of pain elementals instead of there being, what is it, 5 in that room? Then
Yeah,
it was
as
just
many
a
as that,
single.
as many can spawn as they move away.
So how exactly did that spawn prevention work by you just standing there?
So they're supposed to like move, and then the moment one leaves that center position, then another one takes its place. But if you just never let that one move, then you're good.
Oh, so you basically stood in place to keep its AI there.
Yep.
Ah, yeah. See, I don't know what it is. Every single strat, I sound like a broken record. Spawn prevention strats, you have them up the wazoo. Like, there's so many, and every single one just feels like a different flavor of, how do I put it?
It's spicy.
Yeah, spicy.
Everything's very spicy. So we have 2 keys. We are like halfway done through this level. Like we're not kidding when we say this is like one of the longest levels in the entire game.
Imagine.
Oh, there's a dime face rocket. I finally got one
There
free
we
dime.
go.
It's not a Doom game. It's not a Doom run if you don't face rocket at least once.
Yep.
So yeah, with Doom 64 originally not being able to save mid-level, I can imagine getting to a very hard room you haven't been before, and it's just like, okay, well now I got to repeat that whole 15-minute section.
Yep. It's pretty rough that way. So big reroute here in the courtyard. We're actually going to do this in a little bit of a different order. So we're actually going to get rid of these pan elementals, hopefully. So there's actually a lost soul limit in PC Doom and Doom 64. And if you reach that limit, then pain elementals can't actually spawn anymore, which is really nice. So the limit in this game is 17 lost souls. I thought it was 18, but it's actually 17. So that was actually why when... What are you doing here? I have never seen that Keko there.
Oh,
I said the thing.
line.
I said the
line.
thing. But yeah, the limit is 17, so if there are 17 or more lost souls already on the map, then pain elementals can't spawn any, and that means they can't insta-explode you, which is really nice. What is this guy doing here? I don't like this.
Okay, in the modern Dooms, there's this concept called spawn cap, where there's a limit of how many enemies can be on, spawned in at once. Does Doom 64 have anything equivalent to that?
Nothing like that. It really just only applies to the pain elemental spawns.
Oh, okay. So that's kind of a unique, how do I put it, an exception to the rule.
I
Yep.
guess unique just to prevent the game from crashing outright if you have hundreds?
Yeah, I've seen PlayStation Doom crash because too many things happened.
Oh, so that was originally not a thing in the original game, was it?
It probably was, but you'd never like actually see it on stock maps. All right, we're going to do a little bit of cleanup here. I have to look at my notes very carefully, so I'm like literally looking down at my notes while I'm firing these rockets and praying I don't face rocket myself. So this is we're going to take the last secret exit of the run at the end of this level here. Pick these up, make sure we got these. Yeah, we're good on cells. So we're going to do one more spawn prevention. So it's actually very beneficial for these imps to cooperate. So we're going to drag one to the corner. And we got one to spawn block a Baron for us. So even though that takes a little bit of a setup time right there, it's very worth it for resource reasons. And just it's just really convenient.
Don't have to super shotgun another one of them to death. So.
I know. So great way to end a level. How about 3 pan elementals just behind the exit door together?
Gosh.
And getting to this final secret level is actually fairly simple. It's just going over a line def, and then there we go.
I have to be very careful not to skip the line def going into the secret. Otherwise, you have to sit through all this intermission text again because you didn't get the secret. So this is the coolest secret level in the game, in my opinion. This is in the Void. We need to kill these pan elementals ASAP because, as you can see, there's a lot of space for them to move. That's bad for Lost Souls.
Ah. Never expected hell to be so blue.
We're also going to do a little bit of infighting here. I'm going to force these two to infight. There we go. They're just trying to give each other some high fives.
So wait, does infighting work like if you end up making them friendly fire, will they instantly just turn on each other?
Yes, and there's actually a specific case for Hell Knights and Barons in this game. They are specifically coded to actually be able to infight, which they can't in PC Doom.
Yeah, and if it was, say, a Hell Knight and a Hell Knight or a Baron and a Baron, they wouldn't infight, but there's an exception with hit scanners. So troopers or shotgunners, they didn't fight.
There's camaraderie among demon types.
Yes, but not former UAC soldiers.
Makes sense. They're kind of like half and half anyhow.
All right, hopefully these barons behind the walkway coming up will be a little more clustered in here since I've given some time. That looks good. 7 rockets should be good right here.
But like speaking of the atmospheric elements, like in this level, it's just like kind of the weather effects per se. Fog is like new to Doom 64. There was like some that you could see on Watch Your Step, and the music itself too just like adds so much to it. Like Aubrey Hodges did such a great job with
Oh, that was a beautiful BFG shot.
ESX.
I just want to point out that there was so much use of like trying to get enemies to infighting there, so then you could splash damage both of them as they're meleeing. It's those small little details like that that make this combat routing pretty unique from what runs I've seen.
Yeah, this is a really fun category to figure out, like, what's the most efficient way to, like, deal with everything. Because in speed, you're just trying to skip as much possible. You just want to do just the bare minimum. But in max, it's like, okay, how do I manage all my ammo, make everything stretch as far as possible?
Yeah, and then you have that extra layer of infighting that just goes on top. Like, when's it best to try to bait people into infighting? When is it best just to shoot them in the face? I imagine there's a lot of errors, like a ogre.
Oh, it's just, there are so many decisions you have to make in the middle of a run, no matter what.
Yeah, and so it's no wonder that there's so many changes in the routing. Like even now with all of those decisions that can take place.
Okay, my rocket routing is right on track. Good. So actually, all the enemies are dead. We could exit the level, but we still actually need to get the demon key in this level, and that happens right here. So we trigger this quake. I actually managed to skip it going one way.
Wait,
So-
Quake?
Yeah, this is QuakeCon after all. Got to have a quake somewhere.
So wait, are these demon keys, are they secrets as well, or are they like full
Yeah.
game collectibles?
They are secrets. You don't need to collect them, but they help a lot because they upgrade the Unmaker, and they help a lot in the final level, which we will see. This one's actually not tagged as a secret. There are no official secrets in this level, but this one's worth getting anyways because of the final level thing and being able to upgrade the Unmaker to its more
So-
powerful level. So now we have a triple shot Unmaker that chews through cells like I eat my cereal.
So like that 40 seconds of backtracking for that secret, it ends up being worth it by the end?
Yeah, and even if we did, there is one other caveat to the rule set for this category. We do require all 3 demon keys. You can actually see them on the map in the bottom right corner right there. So we just require that anyways. But it just works out that everything's faster. Okay, so Spiral is very, very scary here. We're going to see a lot of really tight fighting here with pain elementals and such. There's going to be a lot of fighting. It's going to be amazing if I don't die right here. So I'm going to try and spawn kill a few of them from here. I'm going to jump out.
Is this just the whole map?
This is the whole map.
Talk about an arena shooter, sheesh.
Oh, I need to get rid of that one right there. He's causing a huge problem. Okay, they're gone. So now we just have a whole bunch of lost souls running around. So this is a lot more scary than I'd like it to be. I can use rockets now that all the lost souls are mostly gone.
Yeah, there's just an insane amount of variety in this game. Like, you had those long labyrinthine like levels, and now we have this level that's literally just, it's a circle with a staircase.
Like I said, the level designs in this game are really good. I remember reading some interviews that the original level designs were actually rejected by id Software mostly, so they must have redone them pretty close to release, and the results ended up really good.
As anyone in any creative field can tell you, revising does wonders for whatever you're working on.
All right, I want to be 100% sure everything's dead. I have all the rockets I need as well. I am actually topped out on rockets. That's perfect. Alrighty, so that should be 100 right there. There's no secrets in that level, thankfully. We don't have to do any kind of hunting.
Nice.
You're going to see a cool little trick in this room just using the vertical kind of offset in the SSG pellets.
not in this category, unfortunately, because we have to go up here. But there is one we can talk about that real quick because the Super Shotgun does have some properties where the bullet spread is there's some randomness in its like Z positioning, so you can actually use that to hit the switch that I needed to activate from all the way down here on the floor. It's a little weird, but it's pretty useful where you can apply it. Okay, we're going to see if what happens in practice happens here again, where I accidentally skipped this line def and I face rocket. Okay, that didn't happen this time. So get this up here. There's going to be a whole bunch of extra rockets now down here. And if you thought there were a lot of enemies before on screen, you're going to see a lot of like pinkies in just a bit. This room coming up is pretty funny with how many pinkies they decide to spawn in. And I forget, I think this is Randy's map, but it might not be.
But speaking of the return of labyrinths, just immediately after the spiral.
Yeah. I mean, have a level dedicated to combat, have a level dedicated to exploration. I mean, Variety 101.
So we need to get in this corridor before we get trapped. Okay, and then we turn around and look at all those pinkies.
And they're gathered up just right for you.
Yeah, it's just perfect right here. Oh, that worked out nicely. So now we can leave this room. We'll get him later. We'll get him on the way out since we need to come back. So this level's actually kind of known for having a planned secret. Because now I remember Tim's post about this. There was a planned secret that was going to be like really complicated with a bunch of like wall tags and such. And there are some like tagged walls here and there, but the secret note doesn't actually exist in the final game. But it was going to be like a kind of like a love letter or something using darts. It's pretty cute.
I was thinking for a second when you say that, like, planned secret as opposed to an unplanned secret.
Well, if you look at the Doom wiki, like they'll mention the normal secrets, but there's so many just that are it's a non-official secret, and it's like every single map.
Oh, like just in other words, like an Easter egg sort of thing that isn't tracked by the secret meter.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's some very good instances of secrets being very unintended. Like E4M3 in Doom 1 has 21 secrets, and I believe it's what 17 of them are the individual steps going up to one of the rooms due to a mapping error. So it's very funny when that happens. So a lot of fighting coming up right here. We're gonna get a couple extra ammo refills. Where'd that other Baron go? Baron? He got lost. There he is. Say hi to the folks. Okay, we'll get this hidden BFG right here. Get some cells. Thankfully, we can just chain gun our way out right here.
I do love like the little like flavor text when you pick up stuff, like when you pick up BFG ammo and just says "Oh yes" after.
Yes. I think my favorite messages are the ones where if you die and you wait long enough, you get some really good ones.
Do you have a favorite?
I think one time I died right in front of like a Baron's hoof, and eventually it said like, "That demon gave you the boot."
There's some other ones. There's one that's just ha 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 ha. Yes. Have you had enough, Zelo?
Let's try not to soft lock down the well, because that can happen. Good. We didn't soft lock down the well. If you skip the line def, you're just trapped forever. You can't save yourself from hell. All right, so this was one of the most changed levels in terms of routing. There's a lot of really complicated fighting in this area, and we're going to balance a lot of the chain gun use. So a little bit of triple unmaker right here gets rid of all of them. We're going to do a little bit of multitasking.
I'm just curious, because there's no crosshair or anything on the screen for Doom 64. Do you just kind of like ballpark it of like, yeah, that's close enough in the center,
yeah,
go for it, or do you use
that's
any
pretty much
cues?
how it is. That's pretty much how it is for any classic Doom runner. Some people actually get crosshair depending on which source port they play, but there's no crosshair support for this. This is a pretty vanilla style port, so and I'm fine with that. Like, it's very faithful. Like, it's actually accurate enough to where the in-game demos actually sync.
Yeah, I guess there is also kind of an argument of that, like, without the crosshair, it adds a little bit more skill because you got to kind of go off an intuition sort of thing. So there's more room for user error or expression or just lining up your shots better. So
It's really tough because like you can see the weapons like sway from side to side, so you can actually get thrown off that way. Especially if like the chain gun's in like kind of a bad position to the left or right. You might think you're shooting straight and you're not.
yeah, because what I've been doing when I'm just like watching you play this, like trying to align the crosshair in my head, is I just like, okay, approximately center of weapon, go forward about, but then that sway just it gets in the way.
Yeah.
Hey, that rhymes.
But for like tons of these old games too, is there would be runners who would just put like a little dot, a little dot in the middle of their screen.
Yeah, just like.
I think I used to do that for Duke Nukem before I understood there actually was a crosshair function in there. All right. So we're going to try and cause some infighting coming up in just a bit. And it's a little scary because the positioning of the Hell Knight and Baron coming up is very random. So we're going to get them to fight right here. Hopefully that's actually a very good position. There we go. I think they're actually going to spawn block one Baron. Oh, no. That's fine.
Ah, close.
That's fine. So we're going to let them have their fun for a bit. We're going to soften these guys up while they're tearing away here. That should be good right there. So do just a little bit of cleanup right here. We're going to pick up as many cells as we can right here. And this is where the triple emitter is going to shine because dealing with Barons is very slow with how tanky they are. They have 1,000 HP. I need that.
Okay, so this might be embarrassing to ask this far into the run, but the Hell Knights that are differently colored, are they actually like different enemies, or are they just HP increases, or?
The red ones are Barons, and they are basically the same enemy, except Hell Knights only have 500 HP, and Barons have 1,000.
Oh.
They can also infight with each other. So now we're just going to carry this invuln as far as we can right here and just be able to just face tank rockets. I'm sorry, Dime, I don't have to take damage there. I think my rocket count's actually good. I need to end with 25, my notes say. So
That's an interesting thing. Does the super shotgun pierce?
it does not.
Ah.
But we didn't talk about the super shotgun. So the normal shotgun fires 7 pellets. Even though the super shotgun only fires 2 shells, it shoots 20 pellets.
So the super shotgun can do between 100 and 300 damage because each pellet is either 5, 10, or 15.
Okay.
But it also shoots slightly faster than in Classic. Like you can see the very short animation, and the animations had to be like a little bit restricted with just
Cartridge space and such.
Yeah.
You see, I asked that because it seems that you killed 2 enemies at once, but that was probably just different pellets, not a piercing effect.
Yeah. Alrighty, so
And
that
down
ends
the
Pitfalls.
hole.
Yeah, it's a pretty long, complicated level. It is very fun in this category. So there is one weapon that we haven't gotten to actually use yet. Who wants to see some chainsaw action?
Oh, yes. Wait, but you have like a fully upgraded Unmaker rocket launcher.
Yeah, but this is more fun. If the hitbox actually wants to cooperate with me. Arachnotrons have very bad hitboxes. They're rectangular instead of like square like everything else. So the chainsaw can kind of go through them, but the chainsaw in this game is actually really good because it deals damage twice as fast as it normally does in PC Doom. So it actually can deal damage quickly and also stun lock some enemies.
So did you chainsaw there because it was the highest like single target damage you could do, or
Yeah,
was it just
it's pretty effective because we also don't want to get screwed by the block map bug. That's pretty notorious with the super shotgun. So our shots would end up passing right through them if we were attacking from a bad position. So usually the chainsaw just works right there.
Okay,
Well-
so it's high damage and bug prevention.
Oh, die. So we're going to do what Peaches likes to call ring around the rosy right here. So there's this dart trap, but if we just kind of go in a circle right here, we just avoid everything.
It's just a I love it when it's down to a science like that.
Yeah, I found that out when I was doing ILs, because if you just try and hide in the corner, sure, you're safe from the darts, but then the Arachnotrons just snipe you from the window at like 90% of the time. I'm like, okay, there's got to be a way to do this. And that's the nice thing about speedrunning is like sometimes you will just brute force a solution because you are very stubborn or very angry.
And
So-
we've all had so much practice with circle strafing. It's just a natural, a natural extension.
I mean, even in, every, I think, modern shooter, I think, is circle strafing is a very viable strategy in a lot of stuff. I remember in Doom Eternal, just, how'd I put it, those donut-like arenas just keep running, and then eventually they can't hit me if I just keep moving.
And it's super satisfying to find those circle strafe solutions in modern games, too.
Mm-hmm.
There is still... How did you not get aggroed? Another that's never happened before moment.
You see, that Pinky was just minding their own business.
I know, and then he tried to come after me. It's like, dude, you weren't even invited to the party. So there was actually one situation that we didn't see, thankfully, earlier. So when I ran in to get the yellow key at the very end of that hallway earlier, a bunch of Arachnotrons actually try to spawn in when you pick up the key. And you would think spawn blocking all three of them would be great. It's like, yeah, it does. But there's something we do later in this level that basically tries to re-trigger the script if it hasn't successfully activated. So if we had blocked all three of them, now all three of them would have actually been active now. So what seems like the best case scenario is actually the worst case scenario, which is really odd.
I just want to say, when those platforms were moving in on you, I was 100% convinced it was going to crush you to death.
You were terrified?
I was a little startled.
I
Yeah.
accidentally just hit the load button. Whoops. That's okay.
Hey, I like that encounter. Let's see it again.
Yeah, sure, why not? I have load and save like right next to each other. Not the smartest thing sometimes, but my muscle memory is already kind of baked at this point. So you get to see this again. That just means more triple unmaker. Like, who's going to deny that?
But
Aw. Well, we've got one little encounter right here at the very end. There's going to be a lot of Arachnotrons. This is really going to be the Unmaker's time to shine. So.
And the Unmaker, so it's firing the 3 lasers at once, but each individual laser does between 10 and 80 damage in intervals of 10. So 10, 20, 30, up to 80.
Just curious, lore question, I know, in a Doom 64 run, but I always thought the Unmaker got its name because, the angels were called the Makers, but were they even introduced at this point in Doom canon?
No, so Unmaker wasn't even really a real name until this re-release came out and Eternal came out. So they came out at basically the same time. We just kind of had speculated names for a bunch of those.
Oh, what did you guys call it before you knew the name?
Things that I can't say on stream.
Fair.
Yeah, but the original kind of idea for the weapon came from the Tom Hall, Doom Bible, which I guess it was made during the development of the first Doom.
Yeah, the Doom Bible covered a lot of stuff that most of it didn't really go in the game, but some of the concepts did carry over into later games and other games, which is pretty nice. So big shout-outs to Tom Hall for coming up with a lot of the design.
I guess what aspect of that was the implementation of the Unmaker? Was that just something specific they had in the Doom Bible, or?
There is an entry for the Unmaker in the Doom Bible.
Was that just a bunch of ideas that they weren't able to implement in the game that they would repurpose later, basically?
It was more just a lot of internal stuff at id that we're not going to get into, but
Gotcha.
Things just got changed and just didn't get used. That's okay, but some of them got used and stuff like this, and I really appreciate that.
It is always nice when you, I guess, just speaking generally, getting able to having an old idea and just being able to make it work just later down the line.
I'm glad it didn't die. That would have been very embarrassing to die there. That's a little bit of a scary encounter with the Arachnotrons, because I want to save at least a few rockets for this. I'm gonna.
Yeah, about to say, we're getting towards the later stretches of the game, and we're getting to master level-esque of encounters here.
Yeah, we didn't really get to talk about the airdrop pinkies. They're so good. But several of them actually managed to spawn 2 Barons, which is really nice for the ammo. We have to come back to this room, but I like clearing everything out now. But this has what I consider the most important line def skip in pretty much any category of the main game. So there's this yellow key that you try and grab it, but you trigger a line def that makes it go away and spawn somewhere else. You do that 3 times, you can finally get it. But that also makes the castle lock, and you would have to kill a bunch of cacodemons to get in there. So we don't want to do that. That's slow. So we're going to do the most important line def skip once we do all this setup. That was a big scratch. He managed to scratch me all the way from up there.
Oh yeah, I guess that's another instance of this game actually being 2D.
So I'm going to have a very specific setup right here. So hopefully nothing will happen if we do this right. So we're just going to be right here. Perfect. So we got the key way before we're supposed to. We're actually going to still trigger these scripts because they killing this last one triggers the steps to the exit. So we have to do this later anyways. But we can also get this last secret right here and get the extra rockets, which are very handy.
Yeah, and you get a perfect visual of the exit there with the 3 panels that are blocking it. And now Zello is going to input 3 combinations to gain access to switches to lower those panels.
Yeah, this is this map's gimmick where you need to enter all these combinations to get to areas you couldn't do before. And it's really easy if you just keep in mind that, hey, start with one switch and then just work clockwise.
Yeah, and if Zello gets any of the combinations wrong, then there's like a group of like lost souls that spawn and come
I think it's a
attack you.
Hell Knight. Either
Is it
Hell
a
Knight
Hell
or
Knight?
Baron.
Okay.
Okay, I think that strikes like a pretty nice balance between people who just don't know what to do and they can brute force it if they're determined enough, or they can just look at the environment and, you know, if you're analyzing this pretty game, you do get rewarded for it.
And if you look in the bottom left at the key combination, that key combination right there, blue, yellow, and red, is actually one of them.
Nice.
So,
I actually did hit one of those combinations one extra time just to make sure I hit all 3 of them so I don't have to do a lengthy backtrack.
Marathon strats, people.
that jump right there is a little decisively scary in that it's easy to bump your head. So Zello kind of strafed to one direction.
Yeah, my setup for that is actually like stop for just a second. So I actually decelerate, and then my acceleration is not enough to where I'll bonk. I'll actually just clear the gap pretty reliably, so that's pretty nice. So this is actually, the last switch is conveniently right here at the very end of the level, so we can just clear out. And that takes us to No Escape, which if you thought 2 Cyber Demons were really fun, why not have 3? But thankfully we have a triple Unmaker, so it's going to be a little bit, it won't be that scary. It's really scary if you have to play this in the speed category because you don't have a powerful Unmaker. You have to BFG them, and that's really scary with rockets that can insta-kill you.
The Unmaker
Swag.
is just so powerful now.
Yeah, I remember when you were just BFGing and it seemed to take forever, and like Unmaker, that was just so much single target damage.
Yeah, so your poor Unmaker and Doom Eternal that can fire 60 times with 600 cells, we divide it by 3.
Oh, I almost got that spawn block. Oh, it's really hard to get that one on that Mancubus because of you don't really have a good visual cue of where to stand.
It was just nothing personal.
Yep. So this level's pretty notorious. Like, there's several areas that we could visit, but we don't want to spawn extra enemies depending on what we do. So we're just going to take the shortest routes around here, only do a little bit of cleanup here. This is actually a little bit low on cells, so hopefully we'll be okay here. Okay, then we're going to leave that Soul Sphere alone because that spawns more enemies. We don't want that. There's a BFG coming up right here. This is actually the last secret we're going to get in the run.
Oh, does that mean we're almost over?
We are almost over, so I actually need to pick up this green armor here. This triggers the Lost Souls here. I'm hopefully not going to blow myself up like I just did. Just barrel to the face. Here,
Hey.
let's blow that barrel up there.
Barrels of fun.
I think that just speaks to your skill, how you can survive a barrel exploding around your face and still continue the run. Like,
I wish I was that skilled in real life.
unfortunately, I can't say I know someone who's face tanked an explosive barrel in real life. It's typically fatal.
All right, so we've got 2 Cybers in the cage together right here. I have to be really careful with the Unmaker because I'm firing so fast, I can end up triggering their like idle frames when they're like in the pain state animation, and then they try and refire a rocket immediately after, so I have to be very, very cautious. Okay, beautiful. And that brings us to the last level coming up. So this is the Absolution. So those 3 demon keys actually come into play here. So because of the level design, there would be 3 gates where we would have to do a bunch of fighting. But if with these demon keys, we can actually close these gates. And it's funny how it happens because there's a room far off in the distance for this level where all these enemies are actually already housed. And when you flip these switches with the demon keys, a crusher comes down in that room and smashes 1/3 of those enemies to death. Now, there is one caveat to this, where sometimes Lost Souls don't die appropriately. So we might... Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh, no, I think we're actually soft-locked.
Oh, no.
All right, well, don't worry. We have a save.
Perfect marathon.
Wow,
lock.
that actually wasn't the soft lock I was thinking of. So you can actually not get 100% kills because a Lost Soul that gets spawned from a dying Pain Elemental can end up in a wall or such. And I've had runs happen where I end at like 99% kills, and you have to sit through the credits to be able to reload your save.
So are you basically just leaving it up to a coin flip at an end of a run?
Yeah, but fighting the enemies is so slow. Like, the IL record for this is like 1:30, so it is still way faster to do this. Okay, it didn't happen this time, so we're just going to kill this Mother Demon. We can stun lock her with the triple Unmaker.
And they just explode.
Yep. So we're going to hopefully see the 100%. If we see the 100% on the results, that is time. If not, I will reload the save and do it again. Time!
Woo!
So yeah, that is Doom 64 WMD Max. I hope y'all really enjoyed this run. This is a really fun category to learn. Like, it's very difficult and very taxing, especially when you reroute it in the span of like a week. But it's really, really fun to play and watch, and I hope y'all had a good time. What was the final time on that? 134? Okay, that's pretty decent. So I actually got a 130 in like 130.50 something a few days ago, and I want to try and get that under at least like a 128 at some point, but it's pretty nice. So actually, since we're so far under estimate, I think we should do something fun for y'all. Y'all want to see some extra levels? Y'all want to see the fun levels get crushed?
Sure, yeah, let's do it.
Why don't we crush the fun levels a bit?
Okay, epilogue.
Also, the ending is very silly. Finally, the mother of all demons is dead, and you're just going to remain in hell forever and make sure no demon ever rises again.
This feels like an anime.
Look, King of the Hill is Texas anime. This is the perfect place for it. So we're going to load up the features menu. So we're going to go to the fun levels. These are warp-only levels here. We're going to start with Cat and Mouse. So all of these have cyber demons in them, and we don't have plasma weapons for any of these. We're going to be fighting these with rocket launchers. And since we just did a WMD Max run, we'll WMD Max these levels as well.
How many bonus warp levels are there?
There are 3.
So are these all varied? Are they all labyrinthine? Like, is there a theme?
It's pretty much here. Can you fight? And yes, this is extremely scary because I have no armor, as you can see, and splash damage is a very real problem with cyber demons here.
How much damage does a cyber demon do if they hit you?
A direct hit will instantly kill me. Like, a direct hit with no armor will instantly kill me at this health. Like, a minimum rocket shot will do 148 damage.
Oh my
I
goodness.
do not have ammo.
Yeah.
We will get ammo.
And a max rocket, 288. So doesn't matter at 66.
Also, if this cyber demon leaves the central arena, it's really bad because he can teleport around. You don't want that to happen because he can pop you in the face like that. So that's one down. So now we're in hardcore. This is the hardest level in the game for me. This is my least favorite level, unfortunately, but we're gonna truck through it. So there's a bunch of arachnotrons, a bunch of mancubi. So we only need to technically kill the arachnotrons to spawn the cyber demon, but since it's max, we're going to kill everything anyways. But we did try and spawn block as many arachnotrons as possible using the mancubi that were already around. That's why I only tried to kill like a few of them. Now, enemies in this level, they teleport around everywhere. They are miserable to deal with. I am getting beat up like hell.
They are also loud. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we mentioned the loudest sound on Eye of the Storm with that BFG and the Lost Souls, but it might be this map.
It might be
I
this, actually.
think this map, the Lost Souls might be louder. However, this is just, it's slightly less loud, but it's constant.
Yep. And the worst part is, like, enemies are constantly teleporting around, so you're not sure when the sounds are going to happen.
Is
okay.
that just a gimmick?
Hey, I finally died for once. You
That-
finally got to watch me die.
Oh, just like the difficulty. Hey!
And again, like I said, this is unfortunately my least favorite level. This is an extremely difficult IL to do.
What's the IL time looking for, like, this level?
I think I have it at 150 or so. I can't remember right off the top of my head.
Now, for how many Mancubi and Arachnotrons are here, you know what?
Yeah, like
That-
we have 4 ILs per level in the game. That's 156 ILs. It's a lot to remember, so I can't remember exact times a lot of the time. Like, I have filled out an entire IL table for this game, and it was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun, and you ended up getting some really cool strats out of it that I could apply to full game, but it's a lot of work to fill out an entire IL table. That is also a lot of
That is a lot of the strategies that a lot of speedrunning communities use. Like in the Modern Doom speedrunning community, we have tables filled with every prominent runners, ILs, best attempts, all that stuff. Also, we can compare, contrast, take strats, steal from each other, and just overall build a much better full game run.
Okay, I don't even care that I'm at like 9% health. We're just gonna do this. So the Cyber Demon should be spawned. Oh,
Yeah,
no, there's
just
one.
don't take damage.
Easier said than done when a nearby wall blast could kill you. So one thing we didn't talk about with the Cyber Demon in this game is that he's actually significantly taller than he is in PC Doom. And you wouldn't think that would actually matter. But because he's so tall, the rockets he fires can end up targeting the floor around you and damage you that way, which is not a thing in PC Doom. What are you still doing here?
Oh, about to say,
Oh my
you got
goodness.
so lucky
I got
there.
so lucky.
They just missed.
Also, the Cyber Demon has a few other attributes. I think it moves a little bit slower than PC,
It's
and
quite
the
slow.
rockets are faster.
Yeah, and interestingly, the rockets actually fire from the turret properly. It fires out of its left hand, whereas in PC Doom, if you watch it, they're more like crotch rockets. So yeah, this is extremely slow. Oh, there's
there it
the
is.
death.
I think that hit the ground behind you.
Yeah. Thankfully, all the Mancubi are already dead. We stayed pretty far into the fight, so we should be all right. The Super Shotgun's really the best option since I ran out of plasma. Oh, this is bad. Nope.
Yeah.
Right to the face. Yeah, you don't want to do rockets against Cyber Demons if you can help it, because Cyber Demons actually have immunity to rocket splash damage.
So they only take the direct?
Yeah, and direct ranges from 20 to 160 per hit in multiples of 20, which is... It's really great to have a bunch of rockets do less damage than a pistol shot.
So, wait, did you give a range for the rocket direct damage?
Yes.
Like, is it RNG how much damage a rocket
It
direct
is.
does?
It is. Okay, he's dead. There we go.
There we go.
So that's level 2 down. All right, last level that we're going to do right here. This is Playground. This is actually really interesting with how it's designed. You're actually intended to have to take these invulnerabilities. And that is actually really bad because the invisibility actually screws up the accuracy on all these enemies to the point where you usually end up just running into shots. So we're going to do this in a very specific way so I don't get shot too badly here. It's a little scary. This is really bad because we do need to fight a Cyber Demon with invisibility still active. And that means we can end up running into the rockets. I don't like this. Okay, so we're going to pick up this Megasphere right here, so we're at least topped off on health. Now we fight a very scary Cyber Demon in this really, really cool arena right here. Like, I like the design. It's, like, simplistic, but the pillars are cool.
I mean, I feel like the sky clouds in the background are doing a lot of work, especially with the small illumination effect on the arena.
Yeah.
It is very pretty.
Well,
Oh,
there's a direct
rocket.
hit. That was almost a max damage hit. That was 138, I think. It was a lot.
Oh.
That one, he was ready. He was ready. I gotta give him props.
Give that Cyber Demon a medal.
I almost ran into that one. The power of the invisibility.
So, like, the invisibility, like, how does that affect their tracking?
It's just like an offset.
Oh, so
Just an
like,
offset.
so like they fire a random like angle relative to you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great for hit scanners, not so great for projectiles. So he should be almost dead, actually. But the level's not quite over once we kill him, because a bunch of Mancubi show up. They want to join in on the fun, too. Thankfully, there's plenty more rockets to go through here.
I just grew a newfound appreciation for the rocket thud just because that's all this level was. Thunk, thunk, thunk,
Yep.
thunk.
And that's the third one, so that finishes that. There actually is one more very quick fun level that we'll do, because we have our good friend and developer Kaiser in the house right now, so I'm going to do this one for him. So we're going to warp to the exclusive fun level for the 2020 version of the game. This is Panic. And if you try and go on the outside arena of this, these rockets shoot out. And they just follow you everywhere. So we're just gonna try and deal with all the electrons and try not to go out too far. I need to save 2 shots though, because there is gonna be yet another Cyber Demon.
So is that portal mechanic like just the mechanic of some of these secret levels, or what, have I just been missing every time it's been used in the base
Yes,
game?
there's specifically line defs and such that that the enemies walk over there. This should be the right position. So I actually spawn blocked 1 cyber. Normally you would normally have to fight 2 of them, and we don't want to do that. Also, double KO, that works as long as I don't push space here. I complete the level. So that's Panic for you.
Nice.
Well, that is all I have for y'all today. There will be more Doom 64 tomorrow with the Lost Levels, which is the unlockable campaign, little mini campaign for this game. So it'll be a fun time tomorrow. But there's also some other great runs tomorrow, like Tag 1, 100%.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the schedule for tomorrow, it is absolutely stacked with good run after good run. We're also leading it off with a special, never-before-seen individual level showcase from Foreshock, who will be going in-depth onto individual level strategy. So if you think what Zello was doing was optimized, you have not seen serious ILers. And we're going to also close it off with Doom 2016 90% by our lovely tech, Dylan. He is single-handedly ran this
Can we
show
get a big
tonight.
round of applause for him for holding down the fort for tech like all night? But
And
I-
yeah, I just recommend stopping by.
Yeah, you
thank
should-
you all for coming. It's been nice. It's been awesome seeing Doom 64.
and we'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks again, guys.